My name is James Blackburn. I live and work in the American Southwest. As a result, I have the good fortune to be able to travel to a variety of beautiful locations. As a professional filmmaker, I document my life through video adventures and I share them with the world. Stay tuned as I travel through the world of movies and the beautiful outdoors. Thanks for watching the James Blackburn Experience. Good howdy, folks. Today is day 4 of 5 of my Indiana surprise visit to my family. And my day began about an hour ago when I got up and did some bathroom duties, took a shower, and now I'm all dressed and ready to go. And we're heading out to breakfast. So stay tuned, because that should be a lot of fun. You know how much I love food. Alright folks, in the elevator again. Here's my mom over here. We're heading to go get some breakfast with the family, and then later today we're going to go see a World War II battleship or boat or something like that. I'm pretty excited about getting to check that out because I love history. So here we go. Yeah, it's about the same time I'll be getting home. My flight lands in Albuquerque about 8:45. All right, folks, we're heading back downtown here, Evansville. Really digging these old houses over here. It wasn't so rainy, you could definitely see it a little better, but look at these cool historic buildings. We're heading back to the casino hotel where my other relatives are staying. We're meeting them there, and then heading over to this boat tour here in a little bit. Thankfully, the boat tour is mostly inside, so we'll be able to stay dry. It's a pretty nice little rainstorm here. There it is, Tropicana, Evansville. We're going in, cover us.
On a bench. Jimmy and I are sitting on a bench. Okay, so the four of us could do
This looks like one of the parking spots. School. The line.
Alright, finally made it down close to the river. It's a light sprinkling rain right now. It's not too hot. We're going to try to get a little bit closer and see if we can explore it a bit more. Gonna head down to the river of love and life. All right, here is that World War II ship we were telling you guys about earlier. We're supposed to be coming and taking a tour of this here in a little while, and it's about an hour-and-a-half tour, and they take you actually inside this thing. That is really impressive. Look at that thing. I mean, this big opening at the end, man, they could drive vehicles out of that thing onto a battleship, right? Tanks, really? Holy cow. Wow. That is impressive. Neat. Look at those guns. Holy cow. Yeah, he must work out. This is so cool though. Sure is green in Indiana. I do remember that from being a kid and living in this part of the country. There's lots of greenery, but I'm surprised I haven't been bitten by a mosquito yet. Maybe the water is moving too much for that. Normally there's a ton of mosquitoes out here, but yeah, this is neat. There's my brother Daniel, sister-in-law Steph. Over there's my mom on the phone, and the river behind them. What an awesome little spot.
I know. I know.
Getting to see the inside is going to be cool if we can get to do that.
I don't have any room on my phone is my bad thing. So.
I have to admit that World War II ship down there is kind of neat. You don't get to see that kind of stuff very often in real life. That's cool. So apparently this ship actually saw combat. And here it is in Indiana all these years later. It's pretty amazing. You know, I've always been fascinated by history of the world, history of America, history of the universe, just history in general. And to stand here and look at something that, I mean, this thing back in the 40s was operational and in the war. And here it is all these years later, like a living history museum. You can come and check it out in person. And it's just super impressive. You can actually take a tour of the inside of it here, and I'm hoping that we can do that before we leave town, because it would be really cool to see what this looks like on the interior as well. Okay, so this landed troops on D-Day in Normandy on June 6, 1944. That is about, what, 77 years ago? That is amazing to me, that this ship is 77 years old and still here. And you can learn from the history of it. This is just awesome. There's a museum here. My brother's already in there. Check this out. So the Evansville Shipyard Ship Location Board. So at one point there was a bunch of these here. More of those guns that they have on that ship. Man, that thing is massive. So the ship we're looking at today was a landing craft, apparently. Lots and lots of history here to read up on. And then this must be a replica of it when it's fully loaded and ready to go. Neat. Old hats and stuff in there as well. There's a man-sized job for you in your Navy. Wow. Hill. Neat. Rain really started coming down again. That's pretty neat. We have umbrellas, so we should be okay, but we're going to be going out here in just a few minutes to check all this out. Alright, we're actually going inside now to check this out, so this is going to be awesome.
Welcome aboard LST 325, folks. I'm Chris. I'll be your crew guide. You're now standing on the last operational LST left in the world. There's 1,051 of these built during World War II. The main job was to get tanks on the enemy beaches where there was no port facilities unlocked like now. But so it was a game changer.
Chris, are you still on the main deck?
So as I mentioned, yeah, this was a game changer in World War II. If you ask Prime Minister Churchill of Great Britain, if he had to pick one thing that won World War II, it would be the LSD. A lot of that has to do with what I was alluding to you. You know, they're planning on this D-Day invasion with 6,900 vessels when they come across the channel, English Channel from England to France, chased the bad guys out of France, June 6, 1944. And the Germans weren't going to let us see these vehicles. I'm talking about carrying 20 Sherman tanks, 30 trucks. The trucks, lighter stuff's up here. All the vehicles come through the bow door. You're looking down and looking out the river just a minute. So you load the top deck first with the vehicles like that deuce and a half. Deuce and a half means that truck can carry 2.5 tons of cargo per person off-road or 5 tons on-road. And so you load the top deck, utilize this elevator.
That's how it works, huh? Wow. This is the bunks here. Wow. I've always respected soldiers, but when you're in here and you see what they had to deal with just in the sleeping compartment alone, no heat, no air conditioning, it's pretty amazing what they did back then. Of course, they didn't have these fans back then like we do now in the rooms here with them, so it was hot in here for sure. Oh wow, check this out. Wow, this is even bigger than expected.
This lies 20 Sherman tanks back in here. If somebody's not familiar with Sherman tanks, we'll show you that.
USS LST-325 is a decommissioned tank landing ship of the United States Navy, now docked in Evansville, Indiana, USA. Like many of her class, she was not named and is properly referred to by her hull destination. The ship was listed on the U.S. National Register of Historic Places in 2009. LST-325 was launched on October 27, 1942 at Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and commissioned on February 1, 1943. The ship operated in the North Africa area and participated in invasions in Sicily and in Italy. On June 6, 1944, LST-325 was part of the largest armada in history by participating in the Normandy landings at Omaha Beach. She carried 59 vehicles, 30 officers, and a total of 396 enlisted men on that first trip. On her first trip back from England from France, LST-325 transported 38 casualties back to a friendly port. Over the next 9 months, Navy records show LST-325 made more than 40 trips across the English Channel, carrying thousands of men and pieces of equipment needed by troops to successfully complete the liberation of Europe. The ship continued to run supply trips between England and France before returning to the United States in May 1945. LST-325 was decommissioned on July 2, 1946 at Green Cove Springs, Florida, and was laid up in the Atlantic Reserve Fleet. The USS LST Memorial, a group of retired military men, acquired the ship in 2000. They traveled to Greece, making the necessary repairs to the ship, and sailed her back to the United States, arriving in Mobile Harbor on January 10, 2001. In 2003, LST-325 made a sentimental journey up the Mississippi and Ohio rivers. The 10-day stop in Evansville, Indiana allowed more than 35,000 people to take a tour. In May and June 2005, she sailed up the East Coast under her own power for a 60-day tour of several ports, visiting Alexandria, Virginia, and Buzzards Bay, Boston, and parts of Massachusetts. LST-325 was one of the last LSTs in operation in the U.S. Others include USS LST-510 in daily use as a ferry between Orient, New York, and New London, Connecticut, and the dredge MV Columbia operating on the Gulf Coast. On October 1, 2005, Evansville, Indiana became her home port, although she still visits other ports each year. During World War II, the Evansville, Indiana riverfront was transformed into a 45-acre shipyard to produce LSTs. At its peak, the Evansville shipyard employed a workforce of over 19,000 and completed 2 of these massive ships per week, becoming the largest inland producers of LST in the U.S. Although the Evansville shipyard was originally contracted to build 24 ships, the city would eventually produce 167 LSTs and 35 other vessels. LST 325 is now home ported in Evansville as a memorial museum to LSTs and the city's war effort. On September 6, 1943, while in Tunisia, 4 members of the crew were injured during an air raid. On September 13th, LST 325 sailed as part of the Northern Attack Force in support of the invasion of Salerno, Italy, carrying elements of the 40th Royal Tank Regiment. 4 members of the crew and 4 British soldiers were injured during an attack by German fighter bombers as the ship entered the attack area. All right. I'm right behind you. Between June 1944 and the end of April 1945, LST 325 made 43 round trips between England and France. Twice they carried loads of ammunition from Omaha Beach to St. Michael on the western shore. On December 28, 1944, the LST 325 helped rescue approximately 700 men from the troop transport SS Empire Javelin. On May 12, 1945, LST 325 sailed with a convoy from Belfast, Ireland, to return to the United States. 2 days out of Belfast, the convoy was hit by a terrific storm and scattered. LST 325 slammed bow first into a monstrous wave, and a crack developed across the main deck. The ship fitters were able to save the ship by welding steel plates across the damaged hull. Blessed by fair weather the rest of the way, LST 325 sailed into Norfolk, Virginia, on May 31, 1945. From Norfolk, LST 325 sailed to the shipyards in New Orleans, Louisiana. There, the damage caused by the storm was repaired and the ship was fitted with the Brody system, a system used for launching and retrieving light observation aircraft from an LST. The ship went on a shakedown cruise in August 1945 to test this new gear. The day before the ship was to sail to the Pacific, the news came that Japan surrendered and the war was finally over. After a trip to Panama in late September, LST 325 was sent to Green Cove Spring, Florida, and decommissioned on July 2, 1946. LST 325 was reactivated in 1951 for service in Military Sea Transport Service Arctic operations. In 1961, LST 325 was again taken out of service and became part of the National Defense Reserve Fleet. LST 325 was again reactivated in 1963 and transferred to Greece in May 1964. Named Syros L-144, she served in the Greek Navy until December 1999, when she was decommissioned for the 3rd time. In 2000, she was acquired by the USS Ship Memorial Incorporated and sailed back across the Atlantic for the final time, arriving in Mobile, Alabama on January 10, 2001. One of only 2 World War II LSTs to be preserved in the United States, LST 325 is currently docked in Evansville, Indiana. She has become a museum and memorial ship to the men who bravely served their countries aboard LSTs. Here's a little fun fact that the tour guide shared with us. LST apparently stands for Land Ship Tank, but he said that the soldiers called it Last Ship There because it was so slow moving that it just took really long time to travel anywhere. This is going to be a voiceover moment, you know, where I say something like, my brother and his wife Stephanie had to go back home because Daniel had to work that night. We were sad to see him go, but we were so happy he was here. All right, just spent about an hour with my mom working on the computer, trying to get her phone, data card emptied out because it was completely full. She couldn't take any more pictures, so I think we got that going. Now, I'm going back into my room to freshen up, and we're gonna head back down to the casino here in a little bit to go hang out with my family one last night together, guys. It's gonna be awesome.com. All right, good howdy, folks. Today is day number 4. We've had a pretty full day so far. I'm back in my room relaxing now. I'm gonna take a little break, and then I'm gonna head back down to my mom's room and hang out with her for a little while, and then maybe a little while later, go and get some dinner. And then most likely my family's going back to the casino tonight. That's a big thing for them. They absolutely love it. And I had some fun there too. I'm not sure if I'm gonna go back again tonight or not. But yeah, it's been a wonderful trip so far, so much appreciated. You're gonna find one up there?
Okay. I don't think so. If not, then we're going to go up another one, that's all.
See, there's one right there.
Missed one.
There's one right here.
One right here.
Parked at level 4. Yes, indeed. Hit my arm. Oh.
All right, down to 2. Oops, sorry, dude.
Parking garage.
Yeah.
All right, some of the family's back together. We're heading up to Edna's room for a moment here, and we're gonna come back down and have some fun. It'll be great. All right, we're leaving behind the world of gambling for now. We're gonna go have some family moments before we wrap it up for the night and go get some sleep. There's my Uncle Brad. He's as much of a camera hog as I am. This whole family's awesome though. I was very lucky to be born into these crazy folks' lives. We're all a little bit nuts, but it's a good thing. I have lived in New Mexico since 1998, and that means I don't get to travel to see my family very often. Sometimes I wonder about living so far away from my family, and did I make the right decision to move? The answer is yes. Yes, I made the right decision, and yes, living far away makes me love, appreciate, and miss them that much more. However, it's trips like this one that I absolutely love. My time spent with family now is a truly special gift, and I totally love my time with all of them. The definition of the word family is all the descendants of a common ancestor or a group of one or more parents and their children living together as a unit. We may not live together anymore, but I still feel like a family unit. With these folks, we just pick up where we left off. We may not see each other often, but when we do, it's as if we just saw each other yesterday. I love my family and feel very fortunate to be related. Thank you all. You all have my heart and always will. Much love and respect to you. Home is where the heart is, right? Home is defined as the place where one lives permanently, especially as a member of a family or household. However, when I'm with my family, no matter where that is, that always feels like home to me. My heart, my home, my family, all one and the same. So no matter where I go, there I am, and home always travels with me. My home is in my heart, and having a family that feels mostly the same is a truly amazing feeling. I hope you've enjoyed this 5-part series of traveling to surprise my family in Indiana. I know I enjoyed this trip and it will hold a special place in my heart for the rest of my days. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. All right, folks, that wraps up day 4 of 5 of the Indiana surprise visit. Here's my mom with me, and I'm gonna wrap up the video here for the night because I want to get back to the hotel room and take a break and get some sleep. So we're gonna do the usual outro here by saying love, love, hate, hate, take care of each other. .com.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right, folks, having a grand time with the family. Thanks. You could be crazy and not be dangerous. Sorry, Joe. Camera's in your face again. Remember, folks, life is beautiful if you know where to look. Keep your eyes, your heart, and your mind open. It just might lead you somewhere special. Thank you for watching the James Blackburn Experience. Be sure to check my YouTube channel for almost 900 additional video adventures.
Purple Martians.